But first, sleeping in late is often seen as a rite of passage for many teenagers, but could allowing them to start the school day later improve their performance? A new trial of GCSE students will look at their sleep patterns to determine whether a 10 o'clock start and indeed a later finish would help their studies. It's up to individual schools to choose their hours, but most tend to start around 9 o'clock. One that doesn't stick to convention is Hampton Court House Sixth Form College in London. Lessons there start at 1:30 and finish at 7. They believe it gives students more independence over how they structure their days.
I much prefer it. In GCSEs, I was so tired all the time. I found it so hard to get up. My dad was shouting at me every morning to get out of bed, but now I can just get up in my own time, my own way, and I have so much more flexibility about when I do my work.
I feel more awake, I'm able to concentrate, I'm more invigorated in lessons.
I find that definitely the flexibility between choosing to do your homework in the morning and the evenings is one of the most productive things. For me, I find that if I'm able to do my homework in the mornings, I'm able to give much more free time in the evenings.
I was waking up at 6 every day in my GCSE years, and I was just getting so tired. Now I wake up at 8, and I'm much more alert, much more awake. And when I'm in class, I can concentrate more easily, and I can really listen to what the teachers say.
Well, listening to that with me in the studio is Dr. Paul Kelly from the Open University, who's on the research team, and also Bernard Trafford, who is the head teacher at Purcell School for, I guess the clue's in the name, young musicians in Hertfordshire. Your initial study, so this isn't a complete blank sheet of paper, you've already done a piece of research that actually said a 10 a.m. start reduces illnesses by 50% and increases performance by 12%. Why do you think that might be the case?
Well, what's happened is the biology has now been understood of these changes in teenagers, and when they wake up at 8 o'clock, as the young student just said, they're rested and they're ready to go 2 hours later at school. So they're achieving more, but they're also healthier. And that was a real surprise in our study.
Some of your master musicians have to get up. I'm working it out backwards at about 6 o'clock because you start practice at 7:30. But these are some of the brightest in the land.
They are fantastically talented, but they don't get up unless they're day pupils at 6 to get there. I think it's hard for the day pupils. 3/4 of our small school, so that's about 140 children, are boarders. They're not up until around 7. Probably just after. They're practicing at 7:20, and then there's a very pleasant communal breakfast, and it's a really happy occasion an hour later.
Yeah.
So, I would never ignore the science on education. My problem is a pragmatic one. We have boarders there, so they start early.
Part of the pragmatism as well. I know this is GCSE level, people, but it's mums and dads and school runs.
Of course. And it's very important to realise that they're starting at a civilised time. It sounds very civilised at your school. And that they don't have pressure on them very early in the morning to do all their key learning. I think we all agree on that, but we also understand that educationists have to make the practical realities work for families and for students.
So is at the heart of this then, I mean, actually flexibility, it's not whether it's 7, 8, 9 or 10. You both used to work together as headmasters in Newcastle, and you let me into a little secret.
Yes.
Good heads are flexible heads.
I think so. It's got to be pragmatic. We both in Newcastle were very aware of a huge rural county north of us in Northumberland, where the secondary schools are 40 miles apart.
So flexibility, research first.
But we have to be aware that all the schools in America have been told not to start at 8:30 or earlier.
Let us not go to America because time is against us. We'll stick with that. Paul and Bernard, thank you both very much indeed.
Thank you.